Our last video of the day. This is kind of just on Amy Coney Barrett. She was just announced to be Supreme Court judge nominee. She came out. She gave her speech. It was, it was pretty good. Saying she's going to uphold the Constitution to, what it is. She's not going to put her feelings into it or religion into it. Nothing. So it's good. We hope she does. That's all I got to really say on pretty much that. I mean, it wasn't really too much. Trump talked, praising her, saying how well of a job, she's doing, being able to raise a bunch of kids, even adopting children, helping out. But, unfortunately, we know that Democrats they just don't like anybody. Democrats launched smear attacks on Amy Coney Barrett's adopted children. Democrats began smearing Judge Amy Coney Barrett on Friday night before President Donald Trump even nominated her to become the next Associate Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court, which he is expected to do on Saturday afternoon, which we know he did. Dana Hull, a Democrat activist who was once a chief of staff on Capitol Hill to a Democrat lawmaker, tweeted Friday night that he hopes Barrett is investigated over the children she and her husband adopted from Haiti. I would love to know which adoption agency Amy Coney Barrett and her husband used to adopt the two children they brought here from Haiti, Hull wrote. So here's a cue. Does the press even investigate details of Barrett's adoption from Haiti? Hull wrote in a follow-up tweet, some adoptions from Haiti were legit. Many were sketchy as hell. And if the press learned they were unethical and maybe illegal adoptions, would they report it or not because it involves her children? Oh, they reported. Oh, they'd sure report it. Are you kidding me? How much smearing that they do and how much they were already smearing her before that. If they had news that she was kidnapping children to try to adopt, then yeah, that would have been groundbreaking news a week ago. In a third follow-up tweet, Hall added, would it matter if her kids were scooped up by ultra-religious Americans or Americans weren't scrupulous intermediaries and the kids were taken when their family was in Haiti? I don't know. I think it does, but maybe it doesn't or shouldn't. What? According to his LinkedIn page, Hall is a former campaign manager to several top Democrats like former Representative Paul Hodes and current Representative Jim Himes. He also was Hodes' chief of staff in Congress. On his website, Hull describes himself as an effective Democrat operative who has taken out sitting Republicans. Hull writes about himself. Okay. I mean, I guess you can say that about yourself if you want. It just seems a little crass. Says several top Republicans quickly seized on Hull's tweets, including Senator Josh Hawley and Tom Cotton, who called the Democrat tactics of smearing Barrett and her family despicable. Well, yeah, it is. You're going after her children. But then again, that's not any different. They went after Flynn's children, too. So they don't care about the children. Oh, they do not care about the actual children. They just want to smear her as much as they can. And they don't even care if it's real or not. It's all supposition. They don't know it's real. They're going to assume that they are right and that is correct then. I guarantee it. But it's not. Who knows if it actually isn't? We don't know. There was no investigation. But I guarantee you, if journalism found out that Amy Coney Barrett had stolen children from Haiti or gotten them in some weird, unethical, and illegal way, believe me, it would have been front page headlines for a week, especially if she was going to become the Supreme Court nominee. You guys are crazy. Yeah, whoever this Dana Hull is just awful. Hull was hardly the only top Democrat on Friday before Trump even announced Barrett as his pick to attack her adopted children. John Lee Broher, the managing director of Next Gen America, a top leftist PAC funded by billionaire Tom Steyer, also raised questions about Barrett's adoption of children from Haiti in a tweet on Friday night. As an adoptee, I need to know more about the circumstance of how Amy Coney Barrett came to adopt her children and the treatment of them since. Just because you're an adoptee doesn't mean you need to know more. You don't need to know more. You want to know more, which is kind of an invasion of privacy. So you're a little weird. It says transracial adoption is fraught with trauma and potential for harm, and everything I see here is deeply concerning. I'm just going to say this. I have a family member who did transracial adoption. That kid is amazing. Okay? He's nice, considerate, respectful, and he's probably the top in his age group, or even 3 or 4 or 5 years older than him. He's better than them in what he does. So he got a better chance. And you know what? Amy Coney Barrett's kids probably got a better chance by being adopted by her. And then to disparage her and them, it's sickening. Just sickening. They'll go to any levels to disparage them, to get their way, to get their power. Any levels. They don't care. They don't care about children in the slightest. They will use them as shields for their political game. We got what Amy Coney Barrett's Supreme Court nomination would mean for Obamacare. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Or it'll get rid of Obamacare, which is good because we don't need Obamacare, guys. Obamacare made millions go into debt because they were forced to get it and then couldn't pay it. Obamacare hurt this country more than it could have possibly helped. Well, it didn't. Well, we'll say it did probably help for some people, maybe. But yeah, it caused a lot of people to go into more debt because they were forced to have it if they didn't have other health insurance. Forced. Just gonna say that. We got Amy Coney Barrett, mother of 7, woman of faith, who says religion has no place in rulings, and that's what she said in her speech. I'm gonna hold her accountable to it. You know, she doesn't put religion into her choices. I'm fine with that. Everyone should be fine with that, right? As long as she doesn't do it, then there's no problem. So don't just assume she's going to do all of these things when she wasn't even nominated yet. They just couldn't wait to jump on some negativity bandwagon. All right, I'm now done with this a bit. There wasn't really too much to cover on Amy Coney Barrett here. Just, say she's got the nomination and her speech, blah, 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 all that. And then, the smears against her. It's just despicable. Well, that'll cover the last episode, the last video for today. We'll be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. will be the first video. So I'll see you then.